Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Higher Density Living. I'd first of all like to thank all of our listeners and beyond that, the people that actively donate to Higher Density Living. It means a lot that you are taking your hard-earned money and sharing it to support this educational journey on creational laws and the law of one, which we try to bring to you in the most concise and realistic and objective manner we can possible. So we really appreciate all of your support in doing that. And we'd also like to thank Quality Mazda NM of New Mexico for being one of our recurring sponsors here of the podcast. If you are looking for a Mazda in the most educational buying format and you're in the Colorado, Texas, or New Mexico area, go to qualitymazdanm.com. You were recently in an accident, right? Or your girlfriend
Yes,
was?
yeah, exactly. It's at the body shop now, and it was performed well.
And she's great.
Yeah, my girlfriend, she was involved in the accident. Someone hit her on the side, and they got Mazda just got all of its vehicles got top safety pick plus from the government.
Well, it's obvious.
Yeah,
You just get drilled by another car, you're fine.
and it's funny because I have I'm going to shout out. I have a Toyota Camry for my rental car, and it is so differently unique than the Mazda. It's like
What do you mean
maybe
by
because
that?
I have a bias or something, but I just don't like it's like the suspension's different, the buttons are different, the way the materials are made. There's like Mazda's very intuitive in the sense of the way they design, and their designers use a Japanese approach, and they talk about it like from the way that the samurai steel blade is being made
Forged.
and then forged, and then like how it has angles and edges. They use that on the vehicle.
I like
and they
it.
have and then their main philosophy is horse and rider as one, which is kima itai, and that is like those ones with the bow, and you got to use your legs to steer the horse.
Steer the horse with the pressures.
So it's horse and rider as one.
Love it.
So that's their whole philosophy of when a driver's sitting in the vehicle, that it becomes one with the vehicle.
I like when you drive me around. I actually feel like I'm a part of the car. The way the seats hug me and everything.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the whole philosophy.
It's great. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, compared to Toyota, I just feel like I'm a number.
You are a number.
Maybe. Yeah. Unless Toyota wants to sponsor us, then yeah.
I'm no longer a
I'll take a
number.
Tacoma.
Yeah.
I love those.
Tacos
The 4Runners.
The tacos? 4Runners? They're great.
Yeah, those are great. Their SUV vehicles are great, but
Absolutely great.
Camry is a little.
So what do we, you had sent me, and like I told you when I was standing here a few moments ago, like I was really pleased that you sent me these two sessions from the Law 1. And we're going to go over one now in this episode and then another, right?
Mm-hmm.
From session 10 and session 12. It's like just at the right time when I needed it. And what's interesting about this material is that you can open it up and it pulls you right back to center.
Yes.
Every single time.
Every time. This is what I do. Because I just hop on LLresearch.org or whatever, and then just read something if I'm like feeling emotionally like mind, body, spirit complex is out of.
Like dealing with me.
No, not at all. You're easy. A lot of times we agree 90% of the time.
We really do.
Yeah, but we have a fundamental basis of unity
And understanding.
Yes, exactly. And so when you have that understanding, then it's going to create cohesiveness, which in turn is going to create less friction, which in turn is going to create success.
Yeah, like you and I, even like before we even get into this, like even at work, because you and I have this deeper foundation, I'm like working with the self here. You and I both know what the end goal is.
Yes, 100%.
And so everything you and I are doing are always in unity regardless because we know what the foundation.
Yeah, and you're looking at it without ego involved. You're looking at it in the sense of what that highest point, spirit, like on mind and body spirit, the spirit. You're looking at that. So when you take it from spirit, then from spirit it injects the mind, and then from there it injects the physical.
Yeah.
So when you look at something first spiritually on the spirit side, and then that injects into the mind, and then you're working on tapping into your higher self that Raw talks about, that thought process is going to be 180 degrees out from any other business.
Talk about a fucking flywheel.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's almost like there's I'm going to explain how this makes me feel, and then we'll get into this. I feel like, and Ra talks about this a lot, is that it removes us from like the karma. That's fine, by the way. That
I know. I was like,
Yeah, it's
oh,
all
look,
good.
I'm having an out of body experience.
of an OBE. The monitor's giving us an OBE. No, but says, as you call it, karma. So it's really, it's a causal chain of cause and effect, right? It's accumulation of all these events and choices that we make. And he said, but the group, when you can look at things in the sense of all being creation, all having unity, and self to self, rather than thinking, oh, you're another person, it's just self and self, you're just a mere reflection. It removes me for a second from the thought patterns of, these many other societal distortions that we're having. And even in a micro sense, things that happen in work, right, or other relationships. I almost get to have a third party view of me where I say, what an interesting body I'm using to learn.
Right.
What an interesting way for me to hear or to feel that.
Yes.
And it's not like a detachment, but it's a change in the perspective of how I view the self, the ego, and my relation to others. And there's something very refreshing.
This is really good.
There's something really refreshing about it, because when I do that, it removes me from continually thinking through those chains of cause and effect, right? Or being a part of those probabilities that I don't want to be a part of.
I love this. Yeah. One of the things when you said that, one of the huge things I see, even getting on like a personal perspective with you, and understanding, like, of course, Tartle, who we work for, you founded the company. But what a lot of people don't realize, even having those personal conversations, whether it's with an investor or whether it's with another company that you're having a conversation with, that other, you know what I mean? Like, and most people, whether you're in sales or in business, it's like I'm talking to somebody else. They're the separate self.
Yeah.
Where how much more would sales be accomplished because we don't care about that entity and what it's feeling. So if that investor's feeling, I'm self, I'm all service to self, that doesn't matter. It's our approach to that. So if we're creating unity and we're not viewing that company and that person as separate, then how does that conversation go?
Well, it changes it because, say, for instance, like I'm just going to use in business. You come to the approach or the conversation with questions, curiosity, and wanting to learn. And when you do so, you can really understand the needs of that other entity which you're engaging with, which is different because then that forms a level of understanding, rather than you trying to force your knowing onto them and forcing them to understand you. The dynamic changes, and it actually unifies at that point. And now when both of us can be in understanding of the same things that are occurring or needs or issues, you've doubled the thought power towards the process.
Well, when you're thinking of that other person as being separate from you, then it's like I need to get this information to them. And I've got to make sure I'm ultra clear, and I got a certain time constraint.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
I'm laughing because I feel it all the time. Yeah,
but you know what I mean. So you're just like totally at a different matrix whenever you're like
certain time, certain thing. You're correct.
Well, I like shut the fuck up, so I could say this because this is going to do it.
Because this will make you change. What you don't realize is that all the information's already there.
Yeah.
Step one, realize that you are now engaging with another entity.
Yes.
There's unity just in that first step.
Yes.
And then do not try to force your ideas or understanding onto them.
No, that's that you're going to get their free will.
Right.
So what's going to happen then?
Listen.
But this is what happens in sales a lot of times.
Yeah.
Is it's two personalities separate battling each other for this mind thought process of who is better.
Right.
Automatically, like when you talk to investors, you get this all the time. They're coming in feeling like they're better.
All the time.
Well, because they're multimillionaires or billionaires or whatever. So they've been extremely successful. So whether they may be nice or not, you're coming in their mind, they're busy and you're coming in asking for something and they're giving something to you,
Right.
even though they're going to make tons of money with the risk, but so they have to look at risk and stuff like that. So when you have that feeling already, and I think in business it's huge. When you have that feeling that you're asking for something to a separate entity, you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Instead of understanding that if you're one with them, their illusion of a bank account having millions of dollars is nothing to infinite wisdom and eternity.
Right.
And you're just as much of a creator as they are.
Correct. They are this independent catalyst.
Yes.
Where through this unity, you can use their catalyst to evolve things that's beneficial to both.
But what do you think a conversation would look like? If let's just go think, not just you, but let's just say in general, what do you think if another business person's talking to another business person and we're using these principles?
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to do another podcast because we're already down this road. What do you think that would look like, that conversation?
They both sit down silently and stare at one another for an hour and a half straight, and no one says a word. And then at the end, they both nod.
Yeah.
That's it.
That'd be beautiful.
So that's perfection.
Yeah,
right?
But you're not going to get that. Yeah.
No, but it's really, it starts with, I want to understand. Please teach me. And if both of them can reciprocate the metaphor of that theme throughout the whole conversation, it's a win.
So let's
whether
say,
or not a positive outcome happens for the business doesn't really matter. It's actually it's inconsequential to the fact that even because we're talking about business here, we have the opportunity to engage with another part of creation. Mm-hmm. How wonderful.
Yeah.
How wonderful that opportunity exists.
100%.
How wonderful that opportunity to learn. I've been told, and some amount of times I can't even count no, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But that's all right. I got the opportunity to learn. I got the opportunity to ask questions.
But a no stings because it's that a no stings you, whether it's you're dating someone and they tell you that they're not interested or whatever. The stinging is the separation.
Mm-hmm. The no creates separation.
Yes.
All the time. Because either there was a lack of understanding and it didn't transfer the value of learning properly, or no, because the ego of the other person was so strong that you are missing the opportunity to continue to engage further with that person.
Right.
Which sucks.
Yes.
Whether it be in business or a relationship, feeling those things is like somebody puts up a wall. So a real beneficial thing to learn is how do you continue to engage the relationship, even with those you may not agree with, or those who don't agree with you, or ones that tell you no, or say there's no value you can get from me. But how do you continue to pursue? How do you continue to learn from that engagement?
Yeah, I think one is, and I'm going to use a word that people may not like, but I like the word because I have more of a Christianese type thing, faith. Like, and I was thinking about this the other day. It's like, how quickly can I let a lower third density entity, whether it's an animal glaring its teeth at me or whether it's a human, derail me? Like, they can do it so quick.
So fast.
And so it's like, if I had true faith in understanding these teachings, understanding truth, regardless of where it's coming from, then that would hold me through logically. My mind would be at a level where I wouldn't be upset over some lower density person. You know what I mean? Like, it's like here I am vibrating really high, and then all of a sudden somebody swoops in, and then next thing you know, I'm like, well, fuck this person, just like saying like all kinds of worse. And it's like, how quickly did here I was like way up there, vibrating on this high disc.
But that's
it's like in this. I was in a fucking UFO, just chilling like a villain,
humming, dude.
And then somebody comes in, says something, one little tiny thing, and then next thing you know, I'm like angry Maoist.
Yeah, there is. So the key here when those things occur is to really have sincerity in what you're trying to do, and realize that there is a law of one. There are primal distortions. There is creation and unity amongst all these things. And when those blips show up, it's okay. Because the greater power continuity of all the choices and understanding that you have over the long term, that's what really counts. The other small blips, those points when you get yanked back, is a third density issue. right? And it's required to have that because those are potent polarities that afford you another opportunity to learn.
Yes.
But they're inconsequential to the total power, right, or the total matrix of things you've put together of the mind, body, spirit that you're trying to accelerate that growth and evolve with.
Yeah, and it's just not real. It's an illusion.
It's totally an illusion.
Even that thought process that I'm running or the emotion that I feel in the moment that my body is giving, it's not real.
No, it's not real. If think about how temporal it is, or like ephemeral. It's like it's temporary,
Right.
right? I was pissed. No, I'm not pissed anymore.
Yeah, I always ask like a higher self, how would you react to this? And then try to pause and see if I can get an answer.
I hear it whisper to me, grab them by the shoulders and shake them.
Because that infinite wisdom would for sure have the answer.
Always.
So
always. I think a very key point though is just to maintain that sincerity in what you're trying to do. And that is to evolve and find that unity with any other entity you engage with, whether it be a person, nature, or thoughts or ideas.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that,
well, let's do another episode.
oh, you want to do another episode?
Yeah, because that way we can get right into this.
Okay.
And this will give me SEO and a title.
All right. So
out for business.
yeah, thanks for to help business, relationship, everything. It is. It's just always two things coming together to make one thing.
Exactly. 100%.
Always. Thanks, everybody.
HigherDensityLiving.com.